It feels like people with full-blown Alzheimer's aren't really conscious anymore. It's almost like they're all mostly just a human shell existing. Is their soul still occupying their human form, or does the soul leave to travel and continue their work as we do when sleeping, and are they really suffering?
We get Archangel Gabriel, and he's very pleased to step in. You see, humans that are on the planet are always embodying a soul vibration. In order for a physical form to ground here as human, a soul vibration is always present and accompanying that physical identity. We look at this disease as several different expressions of energy because often what we find is humans like to define or diagnose very unique situations and lump them into the same category. So before we answer this question, we wish to explain that within that diagnosis or definition of Alzheimer's, there is a spectrum or a range of humans who are having so many different experiences, whether they be physical or non-physical. However, there is a common thread that we do wish to explain, and we have to address it both in physical and non-physical because all of you who are here are integrating physical and non-physical as a collective. What that means is when there is a disease or a diagnosis such as this, it is important to look at both aspects of that healing. So first we would say, this is a DNA-based anomaly. When there is something connected to information, either access to information or linear memory, or access to present moment and what is taking place in the presence, there is something going on within the DNA that has broken the connection to earthly experience. So if there is a linear timeline and there is a human who is not able to recall its own linear timeline, it must be present elsewhere in another dimension that timeline does not exist. Because there is no space of nothingness in the universe. Consciousness is always present regardless of whether it shows up in your timeline. For example, there are some that are in what you call a human coma. And that human coma may seem as if there is no conscious recognition of that human to its present moment. But consciousness still exists. It is just elsewhere in a dimension that is opposite of what that presence is for you. And it is similar to what we see for this disease. It is not that the DNA has a difficult pattern to remember its presence so much as it is that there's been a disconnection of the DNA from the consciousness. And there are many reasons for this. We understand that, toxins in your environment have been pinpointed as one of the most significant reasons that humans experience this anomaly. And we agree the reason for that is the toxin is actually a vibration that isn't equal to what the crystalline DNA hold. So the separation of the DNA of the physical and non-physical becomes greater when there is dense information in the structure. This is why humans have a difficult time accessing their extrasensory abilities and gifts, because when they are toxic in the body or holding dense information, the DNA resists its ability to work together, focusing humans on what matches that density or toxin, which is typically physical information. But what we're saying happens in this case is the reverse. The space is created so much that at that point the soul has a choice to either tune into so much density or take the path of the crystalline DNA that has no connection point, no focal point in the current reality. So yes, we believe that in most cases, the consciousness is elsewhere, vibrating in a dimension that is not equal to the one that other humans are accessed. In addition, many of these humans in this collective are in very unstable dimensions. The reason for this is that when the crystalline and carbon DNA strands work together, they hold dimensional reality. It's a technology that humans were created in the likeness of, but when the DNA strands are so separate and a consciousness chooses one or the other, often it's trying to stabilize that relationship. It's trying very hard to pull it back together. And in those dimensions, we'll say, for example, the sixth dimension, the reality is not stable enough for that consciousness to exist full-time or present in its body. And when that instability takes place in dimension, it's very difficult to bring that consciousness back into its body. We know that humans have gone through a myriad of different technological and natural approaches to heal this, and we do believe that there are present on the planet many that can assist in this way. But remember, the physical and the non-physical DNA strands are meant to integrate, and the best way to do this is bringing higher vibration in to counteract the density that is present. Detoxification is something that is also recommended to create the space for how that information can come back together as one.